What makes someone great? What makes them worthy of praise? Should they be rich? Should they be famous? Should it be someone that you personally know very well? Can it be more than one person? The topic of my speech today is more than one person. They didn't do anything to make themselves or anyone else rich or famous. However, their actions and lives greatly affected my life and, in fact, the lives of everyone living today. The people I'm talking about are known as the Greatest Generation. Why are they considered the Greatest Generation? Former TV news anchor Tom Brokaw coined the term in his book entitled The Greatest Generation. He wrote about people who were born in the early 1900s to 1920s. They lived through extremely hard times and multiple wars. Their experiences and how they handled them made them a great example to all of us today. In 1929, the stock market crashed in America, which kicked off the Great Depression that lasted for 10 years. The Greatest Generation were children and young adults at this time. Unemployment was at 20%, and the people who did have jobs often had their wages and hours cut drastically. Even professionals saw their incomes go down because people couldn't afford to go to the doctor, the dentist, or an attorney. Use it up, wear it out, make do or do without was their motto. They learned to live on less and make their dollars and food go farther. They patched their clothes and shoes and even made clothes out of flour sacks, which were sacked in cotton material. Families oftentimes lived together. Parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins. Some people took in boarders, and unfortunately, some parents sent their children to live with relatives in other towns because they couldn't afford to feed them. They reused and recycled everything. They couldn't afford to go out for entertainment to dinner or movies, so they stayed home and listened to the radio. They raised chickens and gardens for food, and after they had a chicken for supper, they would pluck the feathers and use them in pillows and mattresses, and even put the beak and feet in soup. Shortly after the official end of the Depression, Pearl Harbor was bombed. U.S. entered World War II. The Greatest Generation came out in full force. They wanted to protect their country, and they knew what they had to do. Recruiting offices were so busy with people signing up that sometimes they stayed open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The Greatest Generation didn't whine or cry. They were scared, but they were brave. As the actor Tom Hanks said, what these people did was nothing less than save the world. Over 16 million Americans served in World War II. Over 400,000 died, and another 600,000 were wounded. While the soldiers were fighting overseas, the Greatest Generation also pitched in at home. Women worked in factories and defense plants. 5 million women entered the workforce. There were scrap drives for metal to help make weapons, and kitchen fat to make glycerin for bombs. They conserved everything. Many things were rations, such as meat, sugar, gas, tires, shoes, and clothes. Very few people complained because they knew their efforts helped the soldiers overseas, and they had it even worse than they did at home. It's impossible to tell about all the contributions in such a short amount of time. I often wonder if Americans today face the same challenges if we could be as strong, and if so, would we face the same adversities with the same courage and strength as the Greatest Generation?